watch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Lined up in the top 5 of the MVP balloting. It's a crime. 30 yards to win the game. Matt Gabe puts it through. And the Rams, by the hair of their skinny teeth, lined up in the top 5 of the MVP balloting.
Well, that's how it ended. One of the most incredible playoff games, certainly in Bucs history and in NFL history. If it were not some of the other games, this would be the talk of the weekend. With the incredible comeback that the Bucs made down 27-3, had everyone believing that this was going to be another Brady magical moment, but it was not to be, as he was usurped by Matthew Stafford and a very controversial defensive call that we will certainly be talking about this morning. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can find him at palermopa.com. We got Shane Stafford coming up in our second hour, but mostly we're going to be breaking this game down. Nick Geddes and I from Outkick.com. Sir, how are you this morning? Very interesting weekend of NFL football, to say the least.
Put aside what happened yesterday to the Bucs, it was a great weekend of NFL football. If you were a fan of just the league in general and you had no stake in it, I'm sure it was very entertaining. But for Bucs fans and me and you, that straight up sucked yesterday. There's no other way around it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I look at this as, Bucs going to win the Super Bowl this year. I think even Tom Brady knew that wasn't going to happen, based on the quote that he gave to NBC in their meeting, which I thought was very interesting on so many levels. And we're going to get to the Tom Brady will he come back conversation. Obviously, it was quite frankly the most incredible comeback I've ever seen. I mean, think about all the things that happened in this game. Down 27-3, you get the bad snap, and suddenly everything's alive. And then the Bucs don't take advantage of that opportunity. You mentioned this a couple times. As incredible as the comeback was, they missed so many opportunities to really win this game. They had so many opportunities. An incredible comeback. The Fournette touchdown, the subsequent turnovers, 3 late turnovers that the Bucs finally get and tie it up on a 4th down. I mean, it was just so many incredible plays that we're going to talk about that went back and forth. But some of the narratives that are coming out of this game, like I know Todd Bowles is getting roasted for the 0 blitz at the end of the game, and I'm not going to sit here and defend that call. It's hard to defend that call. But the bottom line is anything he was doing really wasn't working. He couldn't cover, and Todd Bowles hasn't figured out how to even slow down to a sprint. Cooper Kupp in 3 or 4 games, he's averaged 10 catches, 120 ridiculous numbers against us. And yesterday, the 2 biggest plays of the game. This Buccaneers team, quite frankly, did not deserve to win that game. They were outplayed tremendously. I'm not going to say they were lucky to get back in the game. That one turnover was an unforced error. The other ones were forced turnovers. So you have to give credit to the Buccaneers defense for forcing the turnovers.
Yeah, they made the plays when they needed to. I mean, the one before, though, going into halftime, I don't even think Winfield even touched the ball. I think
he knocked the ball out.
I don't think he really touched it.
No, he ripped the ball out. It was a great play.
He did not touch that ball.
Yes, he did. You could see him pulling the ball out. I don't know what you were watching.
The ball.
No, he was pulling the ball out. It was a great play. But I'll tell you this. Where's Bruce Arians calling timeouts? With a minute to play in the first half, okay? They were in a situation where they were inside the 15-yard line. And they have a timeout. So time to them is not a thing at this point. They're only going to have one series and then a timeout. So if you call a timeout, it's not like you're keeping them from having time to score. Yeah. You had a minute left at that point. I mean, I'm not saying that Bruce Arians should be predicting that they're going to get a turnover in that situation, but even if they score and get a field goal, you need to preserve time to get that extra possession because the Rams have the ball coming out of the second half. That's key. And you had 2 timeouts on the board. Once they get inside the 20-yard line, you got to use your timeouts. Now, I know, look, Brady's getting harassed, blah, 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 but you got to give yourself a shot. You can't coach defensively when you're down that much right there. That was an error on his part.
It was an error on his part. Todd Bowles at the end of the game, that's an error on his part. Coaching,
is it
player? It is a failure. That is a failure.
Is it
at the
a
end
failure
of the game.
execution, or is it a failure of the call?
It's a failure of everything. It's a failure of everything. You don't call a blitz on that. They're not even in that side of the field yet. They're not in your side of the field yet. They're not a threat at that moment.
The reason I hate to rip him on this is because I watched Kansas City and Buffalo and every other team not blitz and get beat and let the other team go right down the field in 13 seconds. Play the prevent defense so that, when you think you're playing the right defense, how did that work out for Kansas City and Buffalo? Both of those defenses at the end of the game, where you're just, let's play soft. We don't want anything to happen. Look what you just did.
I don't think you needed to play prevent either, though. You got to just play regular defense.
You got to execute your defense.
But nobody even knew what the play was.
You got to execute your defense. If they execute defense, maybe they get a sack fumble there because you're in Matt Stafford's head at that time, but he was starting to play very poorly. But and the bottom line is whatever you call as a defensive coordinator, if your team doesn't execute, how the hell is that on you? I mean, you got to have your team prepared. I mean,
half the guys on the defense knew what the play call was, and half of them didn't.
Well, that's an execution problem. It's not a call problem. You can't. What I'm saying is everybody's jumping on him for this, but my point is, if you don't execute what the coach calls, how do you know it wouldn't have worked?
Matthew Stafford is the number one quarterback in the league against the blitz.
That's true.
You didn't even mention that either.
That's true.
There's no need for it. The Bucs had the momentum defensively in that game. Just play your regular defense. Don't get tricky with it.
I'm just going to say I do not disagree with that, or I agree with it. Any way you want to say that. That's a tacit way of agreeing with someone when you say I do not disagree. I don't full-heartedly agree, but I do not disagree. What I'm saying, I don't think it was a great call, but I think people that are getting on Todd Bowles need to remember what he has been able to do through these few years.
I'm not calling for his job like some Bucs fans are going off the deep end with that. That's ridiculous. I mean, you want to see bad defense, I present you with the 15 years before Todd Bowles got here. Okay? Let's not take for granted and run Todd Bowles out of town. It doesn't diminish what he did last year in the Super Bowl, what he's done for this team. But in that moment, it was a F-up by Todd Bowles to do that, in my opinion, in that moment.
I think I'm going to go to execution first. And my God, so many mistakes in this game by the Buccaneers. I mean, this was such an uncharacteristic game on so many levels. I mean, you just look in the first half, 3 personal foul penalties, which I'm just going to say right now, Sean Hockley, you know what? Get a pair. It's a divisional game. If Ndamukong Suh gets kicked by the quarterback and jumps up and points at him, you know what? You let that one go. You let it go. Brady jumping up in your face. Look, at some point, Brady has to, it's the first unsportsmanlike call ever. And how many times have we seen him get in refs' faces where other guys would have got called? Let's just be honest.
And he mentioned it this week, by the way, on Let's Go.
Did he?
He did mention that. You didn't hear about that?
That he never.
He mentioned that I kind of get away with more trash talk than most.
He did. That's right.
So that was a storyline going into the game already.
So maybe Ed Hockley said, I'm not going to put up with that.
I felt like Sean Hockley had an agenda on him yesterday. I felt like he had an agenda based after the game. He got in my face and said some language that wasn't too kind. You got your feelings hurt?
He moved towards me aggressively, is what he said.
All right, what are we doing in that moment? I mean, and plus the guy was bleeding. He got popped right in the head. We're all about protecting the quarterback here.
Everybody's bleeding. It wasn't that hard a shot.
I understand, but I've seen a lot less that's been called.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%. By Hockley, by the way.
Exactly.
I think he could have let that one go too. And then Levante David, come on, man. He's 3 yards from the sideline on a play that's already well behind him, and he takes off his helmet and slams it down. Now, I don't think Hockley called that one, but what are you doing? Why are you calling that one? That's BS. But look, again, that's not the reason the Bucs lost the game. The reason the Bucs lost the game is the same reason they've lost every game with Brady. They couldn't protect him. They could not protect him. And, it's amazing how Tristan Wirfs goes out and suddenly nobody knows how to block. Nobody on the entire line knows how to block. I mean, Donovan Smith was awful yesterday.
That was pre-Brady Donovan Smith.
Ali Marpet was awful yesterday. Ryan Jensen, And I listen, I didn't get a chance to ask this after the game because they for some rare reason, they picked out certain media that were allowed to go and ask questions, and I wasn't one of them. It's an outrage. No, it's actually because those people are all on deadline and they're working, and I totally get that, by the way. And I don't have a problem with it. But can somebody ask Bruce Arians, and hopefully on the I didn't see exactly what time the availability is today, but I will ask him if I get a chance. Why was Kappa not moved out to right tackle? If Wells was battling an injury all week long, okay, what was called a significant ankle injury, how in the hell did anyone think he was going to hold up against Aaron Donald or Leonard Floyd or any of those guys?
I mean, did you see I think it was in the first quarter when they lined him up there in front of Wells and he blew right by him.
It's a mismatch.
Blew right by him.
Yeah.
And that's when Brady got the ball hit out of his hand.
Yeah. I mean, Kappa has played right tackle. He's played right tackle this year, I think.
I mean, Aaron Stinney did he touch the field?
As the number, he took Wells's spot as the extra offensive lineman. This is what I'm thinking they were thinking is, okay, so we're going to use Stinney as the extra offensive lineman. That may be a significant part of our offense because we're going to run the ball, right? And then, if we move Stinney into right guard, then we don't have that person. Or it could have been actually Josh Wells. I don't know. I'll just say this. Whatever they didn't freaking work. It didn't work. And then they go to Leverett. You're going to choose Nick Leverett at right, who's never played tackle?
Yeah.
I don't think. To go, I mean, he actually, with the little time he was in there, I don't think he gave up a sack, but he got run around one time and Brady stepped up. But my God, why was that not part of the –
They didn't give him a chance to win.
Yeah.
They didn't give him a chance to win. And it's just that simple. And I understand you can't have it perfect conditions all the time, but that was a joke yesterday.
Yeah.
That was an absolute joke. I mean, the ball's getting knocked out of his hands. Receivers can't run routes that can get them open.
Yeah.
I mean, you got guys, Tyler Johnson, for the love of God. I mean, I don't know what else to say about Tyler Johnson.
Yeah,
I don't know why he was out there.
Yeah.
When Scotty Miller was out there, he was making plays. He was making plays, was he not?
Mm-hmm.
Where was Scotty Miller all year long when we were telling him you need to put him in the game?
Yeah.
When he came back from the
Scotty
injury.
Miller's a better player than Tyler Johnson.
Not even close.
I think what I think is they feel like that position calls for so much blocking that you need someone like Tyler who's a little bit bigger, a little bit more stout to be able to do that. But his route running, his catching ability, all of that it's not there. It's not there. And I think it may have led to this quote by Brady in the NBC production meeting. Brady on his future said, winning the Super Bowl would be a perfect ending. I don't know if that's this year. This was before the game. But I think I'll know when I know, but there's a lot that's inconclusive. That's what he told NBC in the pre-production meeting. I don't know if that's this year. He knew this team couldn't win a world championship. He knew it. Not without Tristan Wirfs,
no.
Not without AB. And by the way, can I just say something? I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. They needed AB. Yeah. And this whole narrative that Arians ran him off and like, see, Bruce, you shouldn't have run. What? A guy challenges you like that on the sideline and in a premeditated, I'm going to walk off the field moment. And Arians was in some way supposed to bring him back to the team. I mean, and this whole idea that, he caused him to run off the field. No, that's not the case. We found out with toilet liquor that the night before he was saying, wait till what I do tomorrow. And trust me, he wasn't talking about going off on the field like a big game. It premeditated, and you're supposed to bring him back? Is that what these people think?
And I saw Antonio Brown yesterday. He got his chance to chime in on Twitter about the loss. I don't want to hear from his ass today. I don't. Right after the game was over. I kind of want to
say, what did he say? But, what did he say?
He put a nice little meme on Twitter of him when he's in the end zone with his hands up doing the jumping jacks, and it had a nice little sign that said Bucs eliminated from playoffs.
What a loser.
And I don't want to hear from him.
Loser.
I don't want to hear from him.
What a loser you are, Antonio Brown. Yeah, you think you won? Yeah, really? You won? You think you won? No, you didn't. You're a loser. And what did you? The guy brought you in under his wing and vouched for you, and that's what you did to him. And all of your teammates. You quit on all of your teammates. Yeah, I'm looking right at you, Antonio Brown. You quit on all your teammates. You quit on everybody. You quit on the fans, everybody that brought you back in, and everybody that stuck by you, even Arians who took slings and arrows because of your COVID situation. Everybody stuck by you, and you screwed everybody. You quit on everybody, and you think somehow you've got the high ground? You're a loser. God, what an asswipe.
And regardless if they needed him or not, maybe it's a different outcome. Maybe it's not.
Of course they needed him.
I mean, Chris Godwin, same thing. We get it. Even Perriman not playing yesterday, I think played a part too. When you're playing with those kind of guys and you get no protection and you're playing against a really good team like that,
they should have lost 50-0. Yeah,
they should have. They really should have.
I mean, and then the coverage bust in the first half on Cooper Kupp. It's just basic football. That's 2D football. And Mike Edwards had a terrible game.
He's horrendous.
He had a terrible game.
And another one, too. I'll give you this one. And you talk about this a lot. Where's Vita Vea? Where's Ndamukong Suh on the field? On the quarterback sneak for the touchdown.
What the
hell is Raheem Nunez-Roches and Steve McClendon doing in the game there? Why are they in the game on that play?
It's 3rd and goal. Well, first, if the ball before, it was 2nd and goal from the 2 or 3. Why are they? That's a running situation. Where is Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh?
I don't.
And
it doesn't
then
make any
on
sense.
3rd and goal from the 1, quarterback sneak land, and there's no Vita Vea or Ndamukong Suh.
Vita Vea played the same amount of snaps yesterday as Raheem Nunez-Roches.
That's insane.
Digest that for a second.
And listen, Nacho had a couple of nice plays, but Vita Vea, you're paid $20 million a year.
Yeah, I watched him yesterday. Every single time the Rams ran the ball, he was getting off his blocks. He was playing his ass off yesterday. Okay, I mean these are just little things. He needs to be out there.
Got a sack. Yeah.
I mean Ndamukong Suh played like 10 snaps more than Vita Vea.
Yeah.
So why is Vita Vea not playing as much?
He's always on a pitch count because he's so big and so valuable. But in situations like this, he's got to be in there. And don't tell me, well, I guess in that situation was that second half or first half? I think it was second half. You don't want to burn a timeout there. And I don't know exactly if the Rams substituted on that play or not, and they couldn't get somebody. I think there was plenty of time to substitute in that situation because Akers, some people thought he got in, but he didn't. And at that point, you got to have Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea running on the field. At that point, you got to have it. It's so many mistakes, so many coaching mistakes, so many mistakes of execution. It was just littered with horrible mistakes. I mean, you got to give the Bucs a lot of credit for that comeback. Jamel Dean with a nice punch out of Cooper Kupp got that ball out. That was obviously big. They got some really, really good timely takeaways.
They got every break they needed in the game, but like I said to you,
I want to say they got breaks. I mean, that was they forced those turnovers, except the one.
Yes, they forced them, but the offense got all the opportunities to go back out there and get the job done. And many of those times they couldn't do anything. I mean, I think it was 27-13. You're right there on their side of the field. You got to get points. And it came down to 4th and 11. And Brady, I don't know, that was the worst play I think he made all game. Trying to force it to Cam Brady over the middle of the field.
Oh my God,
Scotty Miller was standing wide open.
Didn't
even look at him.
But that's what happens when Brady gets pressure all game long. He gets uncomfortable and he's not good. He's not good.
And what's crazy though, that play was probably the play where he got the most time all game long.
He didn't expect it.
He wasn't
freaking
ready for
out.
it.
He wasn't ready for it. I mean, this game is about making quarterbacks uncomfortable. But the Rams protected Matthew Stafford tremendously well. I mean, he was very rarely under any duress whatsoever. He was as comfortable as he could be. I mean, let's give it up for Matt Stafford. I've criticized him in the past as being one of the best stat guys and super talented, but not necessarily a leader that can get your team over the hump. That's no longer. What I've seen in the last couple of games, especially that one, that throw and there's another thing. That throw he makes to Cooper Kupp on that last play. Off his back foot, 40 yards, puts air under it because he knows he's got time because he's so badly beaten, and allows Cooper Kupp to adjust to it because he knew he didn't want to overthrow it. I mean, that is so good, and he knows the blitz is coming at him. That is so good. I can't even tell you. You got to tip your cap at those particular points. That's a hell of a throw, right? I mean, perfect throw 4 yards downfield, dropping it in the bucket in absolute crunch time. And let's also say the balls to throw it in that situation. I mean,
they have the trust in Cooper Kupp to go get that ball. I mean, everything went into that. Matt Stafford played exceptionally well yesterday, despite the little he hit a little dull there, I think, in the late third, early fourth. And I thought, here we go. Here comes Stat Badford. Here it comes. Starting to wilt away. But yeah, that's a big time throw in that situation. He shed that label at the expense of the Bucs.
He played great. He was tremendous. He did everything right, made all the right throws, was extremely accurate. Now, on the first drive, they get down into the red zone. And he made it a Stat Badford play as he played. He threw it right to Jamel Dean. It went right through his hands.
Yeah.
That you just can't do that. And we said this all week long. He's going to throw you a couple picks. You got to catch him. And we did not. There were, I think, 2 or 3 balls that we could have had picks on, and we didn't catch any of them. You got to catch them. You got to catch them, or you got no shot. No shot. All right, let's get into some of the sound from yesterday. Let's just start with is Brady coming back? A couple of things on this. First of all the chatter that's out there is really, really interesting. Now, this was put out by TB12 Sports on Twitter. This is not Brady's personal Twitter, which is weird because I don't think this was put out on personal Twitter. Check that for me. He said this: "You win or you learn. There are no failures, only lessons. When you fall, you need to pick yourself up with greater enthusiasm than you went down. Now we look back on this incredible season, learn our lessons, and get up because even greater things are coming. Hashtag keep going." Does that sound like a guy that's retiring? No, that does not sound like a guy that's retiring to me. That is a guy that is ready to come back, and that's also now. I'm not here to say that Tom Brady wrote that prose right after the game. Clearly, this was something that was pre-planned and ready to go. But pre-planned would think. I'm not going to say that's clear because he didn't post this. Somebody in his company did.
Yes,
but it's got a picture of him, and I think it's meant to be his words.
I just think that the competitiveness in Tom Brady, there's no way that can be it. There's just no way that's going to be how it ends.
No.
I know you prefer to go out with a Super Bowl victory. I'm not saying that he's going to go out like that, but the way that game transpired, the way he played this season, just can't see it happening. I really can't.
I can't either. I mean, you're playing at an MVP level and you're that competitive of a human being. And as much as he wants to see his kids and see his family, and I get all that, the bottom line is he can't go out like
it's
that.
Going to feel, at least it does to me, like there's unfinished business there.
Yeah.
There is. You feel like you got robbed a little bit this year with the injuries that came at the worst times, the drama throughout the year. It was a tough season for the Bucs.
It was.
If you go in retrospect there,
it really was.
That was a very tough season, and they would have overcame so much to win a Super Bowl. And you can only do so much.
And here's the thing, they were a couple of plays away, or maybe just one play away from winning that game yesterday. Mm-hmm. And then think about how the narrative changes. Oh my God, Tom Brady does it again. Down 27-3, the second best miracle comeback in the history of the playoffs. Blah blah blah. The Bucs are hosting an NFC Championship game, and here come the 49ers who are have to travel again. Tebow Samuel might not be full ready to go. You got a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Now they say they still have to beat the 49ers and then beat the Chiefs or the Bengals, which I just don't think with the cast of characters that the Bucs have right now, I just don't think it was possible. Because again, they were dominated yesterday. They were dominated on both sides of a line of scrimmage. You're not going to win games like that. You're just not against the better teams. And to expect them to win that game and to come back and then 2 more wasn't going to happen. Now, that being said, I think the biggest part of Brady coming back, and I think this is why he wants to take some time, is let's look at the situation. What are the Bucs facing? Okay, Tristan Wirfs will have surgery in the offseason. He'll be back. He'll be fine. Ryan Jensen's contract is up, but I think they'll be able to get something done there. So I think the offensive line comes back intact most part, right?
There's cap as well you got to worry about.
Yeah. I think they got $10 million in cap room, and there's a couple guys that I think are going to come off. I don't know if you bring JPP back. I don't. He did not play well this year. He looks like he's done. This is the accumulation of injuries. He's not worth the $10 million. And Ndamukong Suh played tremendously well this year. And he doesn't look like he's fallen off. I'd bring him back if I could. I think the defense could use another. Obviously, it could use a really good corner. They could use another guy. They need to find a good corner.
They got to get somebody opposite of Carlton Davis who can play that role consistently.
Yeah, SMB was terrible.
Yeah, he was not really good this year at all. I think Jamel Dean played really well throughout the second half of the year. He should be here. Jordan Whitehead, by the way, is a free agent. You got to figure out, and he played exceptionally well. He's got to come back.
Yep.
Carlton Davis, I think he might be a candidate for the franchise tag. Who knows at this point?
Yeah. So I think you can bring – I'm not going to say you're going to bring all the starters back. I'm going to say you want to bring all the starters back. I think you can improve in some areas. But I think, you can get Fournette back. I think
Gronkowski too. I mean, you have to see, does he want to come back and play?
Gronk did not look great he looked, no, I shouldn't say that. Yesterday, he didn't look great. 11 targets, 4 catches. But that wasn't because of him. That was because Brady had no time. So Gronk played at a very high level. I could see him coming back and playing one more. I think they could put this band back together and have a shot. It's not going to say that it's they're going to be the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. They certainly won't. But I think they got a shot. And who knows who's going to sign up to come play here with Brady? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Fournette too. I mean, he's a free agent as well.
That's right.
I mean, other teams are going to look at what he did this year, almost 1,300 all-purpose yards in 14 games.
Yep.
He could get a pay raise and somewhere else, or he could keep coming back here on these little one-year deals. I mean, they have so many things to move around. They don't have a lot of money. They're kind of maxing out how many guys they can continue to backload.
We don't know what the cap's going to be. The cap's going to explode. It's going to, because I think this was still a COVID cap, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The cap should go up significantly next year. I'm talking 30, 40, $50 million. So I think there's a lot to sort out. I really do. This game is going to leave a very bad taste in his mouth because he had no chance. But also, it was a hell of a comeback. And that whole thrill of that comeback will certainly be fresh in his veins as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, we haven't even mentioned the throw he made to Mike Evans, by the way, for the touchdown. When I was watching the game with, I turned, I'm like, does that look like a guy that's calling it? I mean, guys who are on their way out are making throws like that. They're just not. That
was insane. That was such a good throw in that situation.
Yeah. And he threw it kind of late too, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't until Mike literally got like a step on Jalen Ramsey that he threw it, and still to throw it right there in the bucket. It's just what he's done all year long. I just can't see this being the end.
And the way he walked off the field, I took some video of it. And I mean, he did not, there was no goodbyes. There was no stopping, there was no, melancholy look back to the field as he was leaving. I mean, that was a look of a guy that was pissed off and wants more. So my gut feeling is he comes back and they put the band back together for one more run. And I think this team is, as I have confidence in Jason Light and Spytech that they'll be able to get the job done. And I think they can go out and I think they can make some significant additions to this team. And I do think the defense is still young and getting better. Levante David, I think, still has another year left in him. I still think this is a 10, 12-win team next year.
And you got to factor in who's going to be on this coaching staff.
Yeah,
what's it going to look like?
True.
Are we promoting somebody from within for defensive coordinator? Because I think Bowles is probably gone.
Yeah.
Same with Leftwich. I mean, are we promoting? Are we going outside? The whole scheme could look different for all you know. You have no idea.
They're not going to change the scheme.
Defensively, it may.
Defensively, yeah,
not
maybe.
Offensively, but defensively.
Yeah, and that would be a big hit. No question about it. There would be a big hit. Is Larry Foote ready to step up into a coordinator's position? He's been talked about as a possible head coach. So maybe, this is a chance for him to step up in the defensive coordinator's role. Has learned very well under Todd Bowles. As for Leftwich, Clyde Christensen is obviously, he's been along every step of the way with Peyton Manning and Arians and so many levels. I mean, I think he'd be a great offensive coordinator. He'd be fine. But let's see what happens. I think in general, though, Brady, if he looks at this team, can say we got a good shot because he's still going to have Evans and Godwin They're going to go out and they need to go out and pick up a third receiver. And how many guys are going to be lining up to play with Tom Brady in his last year? And I kind of would like Brady to say it. Say, this is it. This is my swan song. Let the organization know to prepare. Let everybody know that this is going to be it. Can you imagine the fanfare around the league as he takes a farewell? And I think the fans, I don't think it's Brady's way necessarily to do that, but I think it would be great for the fans. I think it would be great for football, and just to know this is his last year and he takes a victory lap and goes out with a competitive team. I mean, what better way than to go out? And here's what when you want to ask questions like this, you got to look at a guy's history. What makes him tick? I mean, what if you could say something about Tom Brady? And if you describe him in 5 or 6 words, I think the first thing that will come out of your mouth is competitive. Competitive. He's a competitor. And he knows that, look, once you're never going to get a chance to play another game of football again once you hang it up. You're never going to get the chance that thrill of the field, that thrill of the comeback, that thrill of the game, the thrill of the competition, the man in the arena. You're never going to get that again. And if you can go out and do it at a high level one more time with a team that has a chance to win the Super Bowl, I would put him in the top 6. You do it. That Tom Brady ain't walking away from that challenge. He's not.
And I feel like in a weird way, and I only could say this probably about Tom Brady, I think he thrives off of that feeling that he got yesterday. When he loses a game like that in the playoffs, that feeling to me almost in a weird way excites him, I want to say, for lack of a better term. That feeling of, okay, now I got to get to work. I got 8 months.
You mean like throwing a pick 6 in New England as your last play?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That feeling that he gets, I think that motivates him more than anything, more than any player in the history of sports. And that's why I just feel like him going out on top feels like the only way it's going to end to me.
Or die trying.
Exactly.
It's just not, it's not going to be this. This just doesn't feel right. It could be, but it just doesn't feel right. I think the more he thinks about it, I think he can look Giselle in the eye and say, look, I played at an MVP level this year. I know the kids are getting older, but it's just one more year and we know it's going to be, and I'm going to promise you right now, this is it. This is my last year. I'm done. And I think there would be a sense of a finality of like, okay, this is it. It's like, when you're doing reps on the Stairmaster or whatever, and you got 15 seconds left. Like, I could do it for 15 seconds. I'm going to give it my all. This is my last sprint. You're on the bike. And I think that would satiate him. I think with his competitiveness to be able to say, this is going to be it. One more, I don't care if I get an injury, whatever happens, this is it.
Because this year didn't feel like a fair shake to me. I mean, the whole story was we were returning all 22 starters, but did it feel like we had all 22? Clearly we did not.
Yesterday's game was the first time the defense had all starters.
Yeah,
playing together as one.
If you want to point out the entire
defense, their worst defensive game.
And if you want to point out the defense, 4 of them probably were not playing near 100% in that game.
Yeah, JPP.
Shaq Barrett probably.
Shaq was invisible. Wow.
Against the backup left tackle.
Yeah. Not invisible. Good. Yeah. So yeah, I think they would all want to. It's not just about Brady too. I think they'd all like to put it back together one more time. If they can get a sense that most of the guys are going to be back, the key players, I think they would.
Yeah, and I think it too. I mean, Bruce confirmed he's coming back. I believe this is the last year on his contract, is it not?
Yeah, I think
so.
It is.
I think it's just May. There's 1 year left on Brady's contract. There's 1 year left on Bruce's contract. You got to – I mean, I know they went all in last year and it worked out. I think you got to do it one more time.
One last shot.
Yeah.
I think it would be great. I think that's what's going to happen. But we'll see. We will see. And if he doesn't come back, you're full rebuild mode. Fire everybody. You're in full rebuild mode, and we'll address that at that time because there's too many moving parts to even see what that would look like. All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get into some of the sound. We'll hear from Bruce Arians. We'll hear from Tom Brady on what he said. He didn't say much, to be quite honest. I couldn't glean much from it at all, but we'll play a portion of everything he said about his future when we come back.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com. Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucs to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company who was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com. Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, or construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. Those big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve, folks. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help you guys and your disputes. He has gotten back millions for his clients. So if you have any of those issues, 813-221-5636 or go to PalermoPA.com. All right, Bruce Arians is actually doing his press conference. He's probably concluded it by now. It started at 10 o'clock. We're going to play that for you at the end of the show, or in our second, certainly. Couple of tidbits out of it. He was asked what the quarterback situation might be if Brady retires, and he said he'd be happy with Blaine Gabbert as the starter
or Kyle Trask.
Yes,
which I know you love Blaine Gabbert, but he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I would go out and pursue Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or.
I mean, hey, I've always told you my master plan was that Rodgers would succeed Brady.
Yeah,
and we just keep it going.
That would be awesome.
But then you'd be forced to have to support Aaron Rodgers. And your narrative will go bye-bye.
I'm warming up to him.
You're warming up to him?
Yeah. I kind of like him. This has been my favorite year for Aaron Rodgers, to be quite honest. One of the few with a backbone as far as talking about what the hell's going on in this country. So I appreciate that. Although I'm sure he was vilified for that. Now he's a horrible quarterback. Even now Stephen A. Smith's getting on him. Look, he did not play well in that game. They scored an opening touchdown, and they scored 3 points the rest of the final three quarters. That's not good. He's got to be better than that. No touchdown passes, 20 for 29. You got to be better.
In a way, though, I said it right after the game. I hope everybody keeps the consistent energy with Rodgers after that game, because if that was Brady and he laid that egg, we know exactly what the narrative would be.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done.
So he can eat some crow for the whole week here.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody before that, was already crowning the Packers as the Super Bowl champions, were they not? Yes. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. They're the Super Bowl champions, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, not so fast, my friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, let's play Tom Brady here. He was asked he was asked in many different ways what his future would be. So we've kind of combined all of his answers, and they're all very non-committal. I'm not sure how much you can glean from all this, but here we go.
I haven't put a lot of thought into it, so we'll just take it day by day and see where we're at.
Did you at least take a moment as you came off the field or at any time today to think about that, to think that this might be the last time I'm out here?
No, I was thinking about winning. That's kind of my mentality always, to go out there and try to win, give my team the best chance to win.
What's the biggest factor for you, Tom? What will be the biggest factor for you in making that decision going forward?
Truthfully, guys, I'm thinking about this game and not thinking about anything past 5 minutes from now.
Yeah, I think he was prepared to answer the question that way. And I think he was honest. I think he was completely honest. I don't think you think Tom Brady lets those type of things creep into his mind on the day of a game? Hell freaking no. That goes against every piece of philosophy I've ever heard him utter. You got to be in the moment. You got to be completely focused. Every moment before that game leading up to it is an opportunity to come up with a better strategy to win the game.
I am curious, though, about the reports that came out. This wasn't just like some isolated report. This was Schefter. This was Rappaport. There was a lot of airtime put to Tom Brady, his future before the game. I'm curious where that came from and why it came out before the game.
Well, I think first and foremost, that quote that he gave NBC Sports may have started a lot of this, because that was very non-committal. I mean, that's a very, very intriguing quote, which is also interesting that as our good friend James Perchak always tells us, he's in a lot of these production meetings, those things are off the record for the most part. Like everything that's said in those production meetings is supposed to be off the record. Now, I don't know if NBC Sports said, hey, can we quote you on that? That particular thing, and he said, "Yeah, that's fine." I don't know, but it's customary that these things are off the record. So I was surprised. I don't think I've ever seen like a quote like that from a production meeting, which is weird. So I don't know, and maybe that's a question that Brady will be asked. But I think, just knowing the business as I do, the people that were in that production meeting start talking to Schefter and Rappaport and blah blah blah, and these things start getting out, and I think that's how that goes. I think if Brady had already decided that he was calling it quits, I think he would have said something after the game. I don't know. None of this, I could be completely wrong. I don't have a strong feeling either way, to be honest with you. But if you have to, like I said in the previous, if with all the things I see around him and what I know about him, I can't see this being it. I just can't.
And if he does leave, his legacy as a Buccaneers quarterback is already cemented. No doubt about it.
Somebody asked me this on Twitter, and I have to actually go back and look at this, but they said Josh Allen was taken with a pick the Buccaneers had. I think the Buccaneers maybe moved back. I'm not sure about this, but this is what this person said. And it's kind of an interesting mental exercise.
The Vita Vea trade.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah. So somebody asked me, said, would you rather have Josh Allen right now as your present and future, or have had that magical moment with Brady and the Super Bowl in your own stadium? That's a tough one.
I don't think it's a tough one. I could probably speak to it pretty well because I'm a younger Bucs fan.
Let me hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I'm a younger Bucs fan, and I don't remember the first Super Bowl. As far as I know, I've experienced, 6 playoff games, basically, in the entire fandom I've had of the Bucs, and a diehard.
Mm-hmm.
Based on all the crap that we went through for 15 years and the losses that we've had, which is why yesterday, to me, it doesn't even rank like in my top 3 of worst losses I've witnessed for the Bucs, okay? I've been through a lot. I would take that moment any day of the week, that 1 year.
Yeah.
It to me, it salvaged all 15 years of fandom. It did.
Yeah.
So going after the Super Bowl and not making the playoffs and all these other feelings, I don't want that again.
Yeah.
And I'm already facing a reality. Once Brady leaves, it's probably where more than likely it's going to end up, depending on who the quarterback is. And I don't want that anymore.
Right.
Last year was such a great moment, and I was in the streets after the game, like thousands were. After that feeling, I wouldn't take it back.
I agree with you. And just having a little bit more perspective than you on this, I just think that first and foremost, Josh Allen is freaking amazing. And right now with recency bias, that game that he played, the games that he's played back-to-back are probably 2 of the best postseason games back-to-back. Statistically, they are the best that we've ever seen. And just from your own eyes, just wow. I mean, what he did yesterday was ridiculous. I mean, some of those escapes that he made and just literally putting his shoulder down and trucking people as he runs, he freaking was Superman yesterday. So yes, a tremendous talent. Will he win a Super Bowl? I don't think there's any doubt about it. There might be multiple, but you know what? I would have said the same thing about Marino. Early on in his career, and he never did. He never delivered a Super Bowl, not because of him, but because what was around him. And the way Josh Allen plays, by the way, he's not going to play until he's 44 years old. Josh Allen's career will end in his early 30s.
And listen,
he plays with too much reckless abandon. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that he can't survive that way. He'll have to either somehow adapt to becoming a little bit less reckless, which would take kind of the fuel away from his game. So there's no promises with Josh Allen. But to have that moment, the greatest guy that has ever played the game, the GOAT, like they would be talking about Tom Brady 100 years from now if we still have a planet or civilized government. They're going to be talking about Tom Brady. He is the GOAT, the greatest of all time to play the game. Chose your franchise. Chose you. You got the date with the homecoming king, and you never had a date before in your life. And he came and chose you. And that magical, and won a Super Bowl in your own stadium, and then put together a pretty damn good season the next year. That was a whole lot of fun. Don't forget about that. And it may be a third season. We don't know. So, yeah, a bird in the hands worth 2 or 3 in the bush.
And that's why I don't take it for granted. I can't take it for granted what he's done to this team, what he's meant. He's the greatest Buccaneer quarterback of all time. I don't care if it lasted only 2 years. If it does, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. Frankly, it's not close. He's already in my Mount Rushmore of Buccaneers, even if it's only 2 years. I don't care. He chose the worst franchise in professional sports based on record. Remember that. He could have gone anywhere. Worst franchise in professional sports based on record. Took them to a Super Bowl in their own stadium, something that's never been done. Yeah. You'll never get that moment back.
Yeah, and you have it forever. It's not like that goes away. You got that to brag on for your entire life, you know? And you get the boat parade. You got all these memories that will always be there for you. Yes, he'll fade away, but he's never going out of the national consciousness. This guy, you know, he's going to be around till, you know, he's going to live to 120. So he'll always, you know, he'll be an announcer, he'll be whatever, but he, as much as he'll always be remembered as a Patriot, people won't forget him as a Buccaneer, because that just added an incredible rung to his legacy.
It did. And to your point, though, about Super Bowls, and people said Marino was going to win probably 4 or 5 when he went there. I mean, was it 83 or 84 they went to the Super Bowl, right?
Year. Yeah,
Second year. Yeah. People said the same thing about Patrick Mahomes. He's going to win 7 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He still is on 1. He might win a second.
Yeah.
But people, I think everyone needs to take a step back. It is very, very hard to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, outside of Brady, it's been, you know, not many people have done it consistently.
Manning won 2 Super Bowls, and the second one, he was probably, 1% worth of what they won there?
Yeah. You know, Russell Wilson's won 1.
Yeah.
You should obviously have 2.
Aaron Rodgers has won 1.
Aaron Rodgers has won 1.
And people are acting like this guy's legacy is tainted because of it.
Yeah.
And I just don't look at it that way.
It's hard.
I really don't.
It's a team game.
So everybody, I think, take a step back. You got no idea what's going to happen. You have no idea what's going to happen.
All right, let's hear from Arians. This is from yesterday, and let's hear a couple of key points here from him. First, while we're talking about Tom's future, let's hear from Arians on Tom's future.
That's up to Tom. I mean, just like all veteran players, you know.
Yeah, he had no inkling of what's coming there. Then he was asked about the defensive struggles in yesterday's game.
Totally busted coverage on 3rd and 20 like we did out there, and give them a touchdown. I mean, the first half, we, for whatever reason, we didn't play our best, whether we were tight, whatever. And second half was more like what we expected to see.
You know, defensively, that many busts, uncharacteristic. They finally had all their starters back. It should have been their best game, and they got no pass rush, 0 pass rush. Matthew Stafford was completely comfortable the entire day. And that, as much as we want to break this down, that was it. They won the line of scrimmage.
And I have no idea how, by the way, if you look at the numbers, you look at the box score, I don't know how in the world they're saying that Matthew Stafford got hurried more than Brady in that game.
What?
That's actually what the numbers say.
No.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know how in the world the box score says that.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know what
somebody must have failed or had a typo or something.
Well, look, every time I saw Stafford drop back, he could step up into the pocket. Every time I saw drop back, could not step up in the pocket. He could not. That's why he was so inaccurate. He could not step into any throws. Everything was short armed, and it was just awful. He was under incredible pressure. Here's Bruce talking about the resilience of his team with the comeback.
These guys are fighters. They've shown it all year. I mean, 14-5, whatever we are, but this team's over. That's like we said right now. This team will not be back together. They never are. And make sure you say thank you to your teammates, and we'll try to regroup this thing and come in next year.
Try and regroup this thing. The finality of NFL football is so, especially in that situation, you make this insane comeback and you think you're going to overtime, and then that happens. Wow. Here's Bruce asked about the last play to Cooper Kupp and the execution of the defense.
Some guys didn't blitz. I don't know if we didn't get the call, but it was an all-out blitz. We should have got a ton of pressure.
Yeah, Levante David was supposed to come up the A gap, and he did not. And you know, and that's a big deal, because if he doesn't necessarily have to back effort, if he can affect the throw or the vision in any way, which he would have normally if he can, because they couldn't block them all if everybody comes. So coming right through that gap would have been Levante David, and he would have been up in Stafford's face to at least. He may not have gotten there because he got rid of the ball pretty quick, but he would have been able to affect the throw in some way, and that throw was just freaking ridiculous. So you can bitch about it all you want, but they executed it. It might have come out a different way. And go, as I said earlier, go look at the Kansas City and Buffalo defenses. Those last 2 minutes, they were playing a lot of that soft shell coverage, and what did that get them? And then here's Arians on the comeback, falling short.
Come back and get this thing to where it was. To lose it like that, it's hard. The finality of this league's a bitch. Now that locker room of guys has been through hell and back this year, and I love them. They have stuck together through all injuries and everything else, and really, really proud of the comeback, not the finish. But can't say enough about all of them. You got the guys that stepped in, that stepped up, all the receivers and DBs and everybody else this year that were a part of this journey, and it's a shame we didn't complete it.
Well, it was going to be tough with the cast of characters they had out there. At one point, Nick Leverett was playing right tackle. I thought I was going to see John Brown coming in. We were kind of joking in the press box that, this is how this is going to end. John Brown's going to come off the sideline, hasn't played in year, whatever it's been, and catch a deep ball for the game-winning touchdown a la Perriman. Like, that's how this is going to end.
He couldn't even get on the field.
Yeah.
He couldn't even get on the field. I remember they showed him on the TV, and I saw 89. And I was like, Antonio Bryant? Is that him out there? I had no idea.
I can't remember the last 89.
I could not remember the last 89. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's John Brown? Yeah, I forgot he was just standing there, But I know he didn't get on the field. Don't think it would have made much of a difference, to be honest, yesterday.
No, but I mean, it's just, what once was, AB, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Gronk, Fournette, Brady, is now Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller, Nick Leverett.
You look at to the team too, and the disappointment. Am I out of line to say that Tyler Johnson might be the biggest disappointment on the team?
He's my 5th round pick.
I understand that, but I think we all watched what he did last year in limited playing time, the big catch he made in the playoffs against New Orleans, and we're thought, okay, here comes the next level. Remember the beginning of the year in the offseason, and Arians said he came in fat.
Yeah.
From the minute this season started, disappointment.
It's interesting how, but it's all a mindset, man. It's all a mindset. And his mindset was, I've made it.
Yeah.
Made a couple big plays at the end. I won a Super Bowl. I don't have to work.
Yeah.
I don't do anything.
It's just sad because we raved about the depth that the team had and the receiver room, and he was a disappointment when he got his opportunity.
Very much so.
Did nothing with it.
Yeah. And Jalen Darden, please, just stop.
That
dude has the instincts of a rock. I mean, he can't see anything. He's the worst returner I've ever seen.
To be that
fast and
that's
that
what he
bad.
Did in college. That's what he did in college. It was damn good at it.
He's terrible. He's got nothing.
Do the Bucs have the worst?
Has he broken one tackle this year or made anybody miss?
His Chicago game was the only one. His first one was the only one.
Yeah,
do the Bucs have the worst return game that you've ever seen?
Their special teams have been dreadful forever. Yesterday, what the hell is Pinion doing? How do you kick the ball out of bounds? Now, there was one, the first one, I was looking at it on TV, and the damn referee's right there. He can see it better than anybody. But I was like, it landed in the end zone out of bounds.
Yeah.
About 3 yards deep and about 2 yards in. So at best, it went over the pylon.
Yeah.
Or at worst, it went over the pylon. Seems like a real ticky-tack call.
I didn't think it went through at all, but
one of the Buccaneer that was closest to it was down there, and he's when the flag was thrown, he's like throwing up his hands like, what the F are you talking about? That was out of bounds. Yeah. It was out of bounds in the end zone, not in play. Like, and the two Rams players were like, they thought it was a touchback all the way. Like, they weren't reacting like it was out of bounds at all. So I don't know. Again, the ref, see, to me, that's a huge call. To make that call is a huge call. That just seems like a referee who hadn't thrown a flag all day. It's close. Let's go ahead and make that an out of bounds.
And I think there needs to be a conversation, like in hockey, where it seems like they swallow the whistle in the playoffs. Yeah. There's no swallowing of the whistle in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, some games there are. Depends on the crew.
I didn't see it yesterday.
No, Hockley was his quick trigger. Hey, one last one on that last play. Let's go to Levante David because he was the one, I guess, that didn't get the call. He didn't blitz. And I hate to put this on Levante. You don't know what the situations are. But, yeah, he didn't get the call, I guess, because he didn't blitz. He was in no man's land doing nothing.
It's tough, to come back in the game like the way we did, to battle back. Got a lot of respect for those guys in the locker room, coaches and players. It's just a situation, hurry up, guys scrambling all over the place, trying to get lined up. And, just unfortunate situation. Some people didn't get the call, some people didn't, but it is what it is, man. They just made a great play, had a great play call lined up, and they made a play. It sucks to lose in that manner from battling back in the way we did. This season was a tough season, and you gotta take your hat off to everybody in that building for grinding it out and putting together a great group of guys to be able to be in a situation like that and just grind through it and be able to put us in a situation to win a football game.
I don't know if it was Levante or somebody said yesterday, there, when talking about the team, said there was a lot of bumping of heads.
Yeah,
within the team.
I think it was Levante.
Yeah.
He said, I think the word he used was turmoil.
Yeah, turmoil and bumping of heads.
Yeah, and a lot of people said, it has to be about AB. But
yeah,
I think maybe might have kind of alluded that there was something deeper there.
Yeah, that's just not that's characterizing as one guy.
Yeah.
But, it could have been like he was the center of it. Like he was starting to go off the ranch and some guys were supporting him like Ronald Jones and some guys weren't. This is what happens when guys like this get in your locker room. They start chirping and they get in some guy's ear and like, oh, they're using you, blah, 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 don't let them do that to you the way they're doing it, And then so you have and clearly by Rojo's tweet, he was in the AB camp. I'm not so sure that ankle injury was, maybe as bad as, as whatever it may have been. I know
immediately after the game, Sean Murphy-Bunting posted on Twitter something about, and it kind of, everybody thought it was about the last play. I think he posted WTF, shaking my head or something like that immediately after the game. And then about 10 minutes later, it was deleted. And kind of alluding to the play call at the end there.
Well, listen, I was shocked they were able to keep it together as well as they could this year because typically after you win the Super Bowl, you got a lot of guys with different agendas, and clearly, AB had his. SMB, he played like shit yesterday. He was terrible. There was a play. In fact, I wrote this down. I think it was right before the half. It was 3rd and 14, and throw a little screen out to Cooper Kupp on the sideline, and that's his man. Nobody is blocking him. He comes up to tackle him on the sideline and just freaking whiffs, like on the sideline. He doesn't push him out. He just dives at his feet and whiffs, and he turns what should have been a 2-yard gain or nothing into an 11-yard gain, which makes it a 40-yard field goal instead of 51 for Matt Gay, who was short on 48. I mean, that's 3 points right there. And it's just a lack of aggression. It's just a lack of and that the defense, especially defensive backs, played like that all day long. I just didn't see a lot of fire from them like I saw in the game before. I mean, remember Whitehead and Whittle and Whitehead, I think, were pretty good. Edwards was awful. SMB was awful. Dean drops a pick. Carlton Davis didn't make a play all day long. Not one, I don't think. So not a good game for them.
And even Bunting too. I know it's hard. I guess I'm a little bit more forgiving when you're trying to cover Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
but
nobody can. I get it.
On the last play or the second to last play where he got open there for the first 20-yard game,
falls down again.
Well, immediately though so he's playing 10 yards off Cooper Kupp, and somehow Cooper Kupp gets beyond him, and now he's having to chase him.
Yeah,
and he has no idea where to go, and he falls down. Cooper Kupp goes right into the zone.
He gets out of bounds.
And gets out of bounds, too. They couldn't tackle him in bounds, and he had like 10 yards to run to the boundary. So, I mean, that's a play right there. I don't understand how you're playing 10 yards off a guy, and you still let him run.
Right by you.
Yeah, within 3 seconds, and now you're chasing. He was just not great yesterday.
Terrible technique. Terrible technique. All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, we'll get into the other NFL games. And boy, they were amazing. That Bills-Chiefs game Holy hell. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. But I got to ask a question. Yes, it was great quarterback play. There's no doubt about it. What the hell were these defenses doing? How are these primary targets running wide open in these situations? We'll talk about that next.
Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucs to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company, was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show on this Loser Monday. If it's Victory Monday, is it also Loser Monday? What do we call this? But it doesn't feel like loser is the right word in this particular case. I'm just saying. We are brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can reach him at PalermoPA.com or 813-221-5636. And the second hour of the JP Peterson Show is brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care, personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. They are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. And if you're into the testosterone replacement, folks, this is not a frivolous treatment like many of these testosterone mills kind of treat it. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, just not something most of these places really even talk about. So let the good folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center take care of you. Christopher Lugo, PA, and his staff are the best in the business, very forward-thinking. That's Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Check out more there at their website. Good folks. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about the other games. The Chiefs-Bills game was just insane. Both quarterbacks threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and it was the first postseason game. Wow, that's incredible. And the way that went down in the final minutes was incredible. Josh Allen, his mixture of running and throwing is unlike anything I've seen. So much of it is off schedule. But some of the throws that he made and some of the defensive decisions, this is why I'm talking about what the Bucs did. They didn't execute that zero blitz. But I'm sitting back and watching Mahomes with 13 seconds left against the Bills. I mean, the Bills should win this game. There's no question about it. It's 13 seconds left. First of all, they kick it into the end zone for a touchback. It's 13 seconds left. You got to make them use some time. You got to squib that ball. I mean, best case scenario, somebody touches the ball and it gets away. You could run 6 or 7 seconds off the clock right there. I mean, a worst case scenario on a squib kick to the 10 or 15 yard line, they've got to field the kick, either decide to run it back for some field position and take up time, or just take a knee and start at the 15, 20 yard line. That's a big deal. And still you're going to get a couple of seconds off the clock probably. So these are brain farts that you just can't happen when you have guys like this. And then you back up so far that you give them a free 20 yards with 13 seconds left. So now they only need 20 more yards to get into field goal range. Why are you just giving them 20 yards? I don't get that.
Prevent defense doesn't prevent shit.
Yeah. Well, that's what you wanted the Bucs to play.
I didn't want them to play prevent defense.
Well,
I wanted
what
you to
defense did you want them to play?
Just play straight up defense. Just play straight up defense.
How'd that work
That's
on a
all
Cooper
I
Kupp
asked.
70-yarder?
Talking about on a Cooper Kupp 70-yarder.
Yeah, it didn't work so well. That was basic defense, 4-2.
That was a collapse.
That was two. Yeah,
It's a miscommunication in the back end.
Yeah, a lot of those.
Yeah, I know.
So, but again, it's execution. We want to focus on the call. How about we focus on the execution? How about was it Edwards in the back end there?
Yeah, it was Edwards.
Staring down some tight end running down the middle of the field when you have another safety on the other side that can help you there. Cooper Kupp is on your side of the field. God, he's on your side of the field. What are you doing?
I think you got to give some credit to Stafford there too, though. He used his eyes very well. He sent 3 guys. It was a great breakdown by Collinsworth. He sent 3 guys deep, and he looked immediately straight the field the entire way.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Just like Devin White on the first touchdown. He's got the tight end.
Yeah.
So the tight end blocks down. He goes, oh, there's the quarterback. I'm going to run to the quarterback. That's exactly what they want you to do, you idiot. And then the tight end just turns around. It was like you could see Stafford, and this is great coaching. McVay sees this in the film.
Yeah.
Oh, every time he's guarded the tight end and the tight end blocks down, he runs after the quarterback. Well, this will be an easy play that we execute in the red zone. Watch this. Tight end block down. Devin White takes the bait, runs after the quarterback. You flip it to the tight end. Easy touchdown. I mean, do your job. Do your job. Not somebody else's job. Do your job. And everything will be fine. Those are the breakdowns that are the difference in good games like this. That's a great play call. You see something on tape and you go and execute it. And he's got to be coached not to do that time and time again.
Listen, but Devin White, this guy will go after the quarterback every chance he gets. He just has no fundamental just of his surroundings at all. The same thing happened in the Eagles game where Jalen Hurts is out of the pocket and he has to go after him. No, you don't.
No,
you don't. He doesn't learn.
No,
he doesn't learn.
You do your job. You do your job because there was another defender coming to get Matthew Stafford, and if you cover your guy, he doesn't have anybody to throw it to, and then you get a sack.
And the same thing with Mike Edwards. It's not the first time I've seen that happen in the back end this year.
But it's cover 2 101.
It is 101.
101. You got it. If you got a guy on your side of the field, and it just happens to be the guy who just won the triple crown or receiving,
he took the bait. He took the bait.
How do you take? Don't Stafford's going to do that with his eyes?
I know. Listen, I hear you. It's a lack of execution, but it happens every week in this league. It does.
I know, but God,
I may not understand how these guys take the bait for it, but especially with Cooper Kupp, and it's a huge play in the game, clearly.
Well, so the Chiefs get the play, and then the play to Travis Kelce. 8 seconds left now. You got to go 20 yards. Travis Kelce lines up on the left-hand side, and there's nobody. And I mean, the safety is so far back. You're giving him 20 yards again. The outside linebacker or corner, whatever the hell how are you giving Travis Kelce a free release off the ball in that situation with 7 seconds left? How are you not hitting him off the ball? You just give him a free release right down the seam where nobody is. I mean, it was so easy. I'm watching the Tyreek Hill play too. And two safeties taking bad angles, and then he deuces at the 10-yard line. Wow, that's not taunting. I don't know. I'm kind of glad they didn't call it, to be quite honest.
It's stupid, but
the rule's stupid. But if you're going to have the rule, then call the damn rule. But I'm glad I didn't. Does that sound like a complete contradiction? I think it did. But then you give 13 seconds left. If you're a Bill, you think you feel bad today, Bucs fans? How do you think if you're the Bills, where you don't even get to touch the ball in overtime?
And I got no sympathy. No sympathy.
I have no sympathy because you played that so poorly. The number one defense, and there's another. It's not like you got a crappy defense. You got the number one defense in football, and in 13 seconds, you're just going to allow them two chunk 20-yard plays because you're playing some stupid ass prevent defense. Man, that's bad.
There's no excuses.
That's horrible.
Hey, but you know what else though? You know who the player of the game was outside the quarterbacks?
Who's that?
Gabe Davis, here from UCF.
He was.
Star-making performance.
That touchdown, should have been the winning touchdown.
Yeah.
What a throw. What a throw and what a route. It was a great route.
Yeah.
And again, what's the other safety doing? There's nobody in your area.
That was it reminded me of that Chiefs-Rams game on Monday night a few years back. Zero defense being played.
Wow.
Those quarterbacks, unbelievable.
They were great throws and great plays, but that defense, boy, certainly lent into it.
Yeah.
Wow. But I still don't everybody dumps on the college overtime. At least in college overtime, both offenses get to touch the ball.
I agree with that. I understand, but I think in the context of the game yesterday, I don't want to hear any Bills fan blaming the fact that, I didn't get a chance to touch the ball in overtime. I don't want to hear it. 13 seconds, 75 yards.
Yeah.
Context matters there. And you had a chance to stop them in overtime too when your defense was Swiss cheese.
Yeah, it was gas though.
It was gas, but
here's the problem I have. Because the rules so favor the offense. They so favor the offense that if the coin flip just becomes too big, too huge, that's why,
I get it. I agree. And Josh Allen, I've never seen a quarterback, I think, play that perfect.
And lose the game.
And lose the game. I don't know what else he could have done.
No, there's nothing else he could have done.
And I'm trying to think of what he reminds me of. I think he's a much more talented thrower version of Cam Newton.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. He's Cam Newton that can throw.
Yes.
And a very accurate and also read the defense.
And we'll see how much it's going to hold up because he just goes in harm's way.
Yeah.
He just takes
he literally there was a chance for him to run out of bounds on that one time where he needed first down. He literally put his shoulder down on out of bounds as he's going out of bounds. I thought he was going to cut back and score, to be honest with you.
The crazy thing, though.
And by the way, the cornerback wanted no part of that smoke.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is he's not the one getting hurt when he gets these collisions. It's the other guys.
He trucked 38.
Tre'Davious Ward.
He trucked that dude. Man, he's a load. He is a load. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Shane Stafford's going to join us. He was breaking down the whole damn game during the game, sending me screenshots of X's and O's, and there's really good stuff. So I'm going to have him come on next and educate all of us as to what the hell happened yesterday to the Bucs. Stay with us. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Well, it's never been more important to support each other and support local businesses like Italiano Insurance that has been around for over 60 years, serving our community with great customer service and also giving back to our locals in need. Their Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Food Drive was another tremendous success this year.
Why call a 1-800 number when you can call your trusted neighbors at Italiano Insurance, who will save you money? In Boca Grande, 941-964-0400. That's 941-964-0400.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Our second hour is presented by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Very different kind of approach to primary care. Check them out at BAMMC.com. What we like to say is getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. So go see the great folks at the Bay Area Modern Medical Center for their anti-aging treatments. All right, let's talk. A man that never is full of fountain of youth, just like the great Tom Brady. Shane Stafford, our quarterback guru, former AFL, NFL, UConn quarterback. What's up, my man? What's up? How are you?
What's going on, man? I don't know about all that, but I hope someday we can all get Tom Brady's fountain of youth.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. So you're like...
What's going on, man? Hey, I tell you, it's not as happy of a Monday,
it's not.
You know, after the loss, that's for sure. I can only imagine how those guys are feeling in the locker room.
God, what a brutal way to lose a game, huh? I mean,
yeah.
But I think, I'm sure you've been part of losses like that. And there's times when you get beat and they were clearly not the better team. And they even know that. But then you make some plays, you tease yourself, you get back into the game and you got a shot and then you do something stupid again and you give it up. I mean, how do you feel if you're a player after a game like that? Do you feel snake bit? Do you feel just like, they were the better team anyway?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Rams are a lot better team than what they went into the playoffs with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, during the season. But I guess I don't even know if it's snake bitten. I think we had to play a really close to perfect game, and we did everything just the opposite. You know, I remember talking to you on Friday and saying, you know, some of the keys to victory would be we got to get off to a fast start.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely didn't do that. I said we got to get Matthew Stafford uncomfortable. We damn sure didn't do that. The guy started out like 8 for 11 with a touchdown and 100 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to let an all-pro caliber quarterback get comfortable. We didn't bring any pressure. They gave us opportunities to bring pressure with their condensed split. And maybe we didn't want to bring pressure defensively because with those condensed splits on LA's side of the ball, you can run a lot of rub routes and get lost and they become big plays.
Right.
But the other thing about that is you now don't know as an offense who's coming, who's blitzing, because you can't disguise it as well as when you have people spread out. So, man, it was bad. You know, a lot of bad play early on, and you know we were competitive, but that bad play it bit us. It did. It was snake bitten in the first half, and it killed us.
Well, let's talk about a couple of the plays, the big plays especially, and let's start with the 3rd and 20. 70-yard touchdown to Cooper Kupp. We're in basic cover 2, and this is cover 2 101 that I think it was Mike Edwards who was playing that side, just totally takes the bait from Stafford. Walk us through that play.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, here's what happens. Sometimes you get too comfortable as a defense and you try and disguise things. And as a quarterback, I know what guys are responsible for. So, yeah, whenever he's going back and he turns his shoulders and his back is to the boundary, I'm gonna make sure I stare down that inside vertical hard just to keep him covering the hashes, and then let a guy like Cooper Kupp now go ahead and get vertical down the sideline. I will say this: I forget who was out there, whether it was Sean Muncie Murphy,
Carlton Davis,
Murphy, or
CD3.
It was Carlton Davis out there at the corner spot. Yeah, and he needs to keep sinking with that other vertical, and then allow the linebacker to break out to the flat, kind of a deal.
Right. On 3rd and 20, shouldn't he be? Tell us what the responsibilities are for Carlton Davis, because he's got the flat, right, as a corner. It's his own defense, so they're playing what we used to call in flag football a 4-2. You have 4 across and then two deep. And so isn't Carlton Davis, if nobody threatens in his area, and I don't think anybody did, and on 3rd and 20, it doesn't really matter. You're gonna if they throw it in the flat, fine. You just rally and tackle. I mean, you got Cooper Kupp over there. Don't you carry him as far as you can down the sideline?
You're 100% right, and definitely the responsibilities, and that's also that's what I'm saying about with the deep half safety on that side. He needs to keep his shoulders square to the line of scrimmage so he can break
react
both ways and get a little bit, still hug the inside vertical, because it is a longer throw out to the sideline. But no doubt, as soon as they threw that in Carlton Davis and him not thinking, they did leak somebody out to the flat late. But to your point, JP, it's okay. They have 20 yards.
Yeah,
you rally up,
situational
you make
football.
them miss. Yeah, and now they're punting the football. Instead, we give up a free touchdown. And also, to that point, where's the pass rush? Again. Where's the pass rush? Stafford was back there baking cookies, bro.
He was. But here's another thing. And I'm a big fan of Todd Bowles, but we've played the Rams, 4 times in the last 3 years with Bowles? Yeah, 4 times. And Cooper Kupp is averaging like 10, 12 catches a game, 100. Like, he's killing us. Like, no, we don't act like he's the best receiver in football. We don't treat him like he's and that play is a perfect example of it, because you're just, I mean, I don't know if that was Mike Evans, you're certainly not cutting him loose down the sideline. If it's Devontae Adams, you're not cutting him loose down the sideline on 3rd and 20. You're paying more attention to that guy. And it doesn't seem like we ever pay more attention. We just treat him like he's Scotty Miller. This just in. Yeah. He ain't. He just won the triple freaking crown. He's running all over. Nobody's covered him.
Right. Exactly. Well, JP, I think we all kind of know what that is, right?
Yes, it's his paint job.
Different variations.
Well, but sooner or later, you should kind of look at the numbers. I don't know. Call me crazy.
Definitely not crazy. That's for sure. But I agree. I mean, I think that same mindset came into the last play of the game, offensive play of the game.
Yes.
Oh, who cares if it's Cooper Kupp? They never throw it to him in this, type of thing. Okay, you're going to let the best receiver, or arguably the best receiver, just run one-on-one against a safety. You're not even going to put a corner on him. I don't know.
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, I question a lot of things that went on out.
Yeah, I mean, we can question the zero blitz because, look, I don't think it was the greatest call in the world. We can break this play down now as well. I don't think it's a great call in that particular situation, but you've already been burned on, playing a basic cover 2. Let's go look at the Buffalo and Kansas City game. Their prevent defenses didn't work so well. So and the bottom line is you got to execute it. If Levante David fires on that one like he normally does, he's getting to the quarterback about the same time the ball does. He's so fast, but he didn't get the call, or he didn't do his job, and he's sitting there in no man's land. He would have been coming up right up the middle with nobody blocking him, at least in Stafford's face, to make the throw a little bit tougher. So if that's the case, we may be talking about something different here. And to me, we can bitch about the call all we want, but you got to execute it, to at least evaluate it, right?
No doubt. And JP, I'm going to even take it to the play before on the corner route that they threw to Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
Number one, why are you not bracketing him inside out?
Yes.
Number two, if you are going to play a 2-man coverage where it's man underneath and you have 2 safeties over top to help with anything deep, why aren't you playing outside technique? Because they want to try to work the sideline.
Yes.
I forget how many timeouts they had, but why are you trailing him playing a man trail technique on his inside hip, knowing he's probably going to do an outbreaking route? That's where Rondé Barber was a genius at understanding situations.
Yes.
It wasn't just him being a great athlete and a great DB, but he understood situations.
Thank you.
Switch up your coverage, make it difficult. That way now you're taking away the outside cut, and he's not throwing that. We don't even maybe get to that play with Cooper Kupp and the bomb down the middle of the field for the field goal. But
so as you're saying, he should the SMB should have had outside leverage, or either way they should be bracketing him. And either way, when he shouldn't be catching the ball at all. And even if he does, you're tackling him right where he is. 100%.
Correct. Yeah, either bracket him, in my opinion, or if you are going to play that trail technique where you're in man-to-man and you're on his hip, be on his outside hip, not his inside hip. So now as a quarterback, I now have to throw it up over top of you. I don't get burnt. I don't slip and fall because I'm already in great leverage position.
Excellent.
And
point.
now that safety may be able to break over top and, create either a turnover or incompletion, or like you said, tackle him in bounds and maybe make them burn a timeout kind of a deal or whatever it is. But,
so they get 20 yards on that play, and now they've got so now we got, what is it? I guess it's 1st and 10 at that particular point. And we and he calls for the zero blitz. And that was another reason. Why is Antonio Winfield covering? If you're going zero blitz, aren't you supposed to match him up with your best corner?
Absolutely. That was my big thing is, why are you having a heavy-footed safety, more of a hitter, a down kind of guy, covering the best receiver in the NFL? Again, arguably the best.
Yeah.
Straight burn. And Cooper Kupp is creative with his routes. He's really
it's just
I just don't understand. I don't understand why they did that.
It wasn't a great call, but it was even more poorly executed. And but again, I think let's flip it to Brady's side here first. And let me ask you this.
Sure.
We talked about this on Monday. Why did they not come out in no huddle? They went to it one time and went right down the field. And they had that was when Brady had his unsportsmanlike conduct. But they went right down the field, and they didn't, because they got, I guess they stalled out after that, even though they did get a first down. But I thought it was very effective. And, if the pass rush is getting to you all game long, one of the great techniques of tiring out a pass rush is to go no huddle. So they can't substitute. Sure. Why did they not do that? Especially with how much success they had in week one.
I love the fact that you asked me like I have the answer on why they didn't do it. I don't know why. But I'm going to tell you this. You're right, JP, man. They should have done something to switch up the tempo.
Collinsworth did mention it during the game. Like, why are they not going no huddle? Yeah.
I know. I heard that. I can't stand that dude, but he was actually right. So I had to give him props, man.
Right.
But no doubt. And even if it's not a hurry up type of, a way of going about it, and just a no huddle to keep the same personnel on the field, and like you said, to wear them out a little bit, it's something that you need to do. Like I said, we were 3 of 14 on third downs. I mean, that's awful.
Wow.
Like, we needed to be around 50 to 60% on third downs, and one of the ways you do that is by wearing guys out, by running the football. Let 240-pound Leonard Fournette run the ball. I think he only had like 13 carries for 51 yards. That's not a bad average right there. Keep feeding that man the rock. Get him the ball in the passing game, just like they did in the screen.
Yeah.
So no doubt, I think they didn't execute well, and it just seemed like the Rams have the number of the Bucs, man.
Well, and I think to that degree, when you say they have their number, you know what that says to me? You're getting outcoached. You're getting outcoached.
I didn't want to say it, but yes, exactly.
No. I look. We've been given Leftwich and Bowles and Arians the plaudits for 2 years, and it's well deserved. I mean, they don't normally get outcoached. I think you're usually the better side, but against the Rams and Sean McVay, they're getting outcoached. They didn't,
100%.
I was just mentioning that one play in the red zone, the tight end caught his first touchdown pass ever. Their first touchdown where he blocks down. Devin White's responsible for him. He blocks down, so Devin White then just runs after the quarterback, who's the bait, and the tight end just pulls right out and gets an easy touchdown. Great call, great execution. They saw something tendency that Devin White does, and they took advantage of it. They seem to have all the right calls at all the right times and confuse the Buccaneers, whatever it was. And the Bucs just did. I mean, when you're behind and their pass rush is getting going, and you're great and you're really disciplined and great at going no huddle, how the hell are you not going no huddle?
How do you not do it? You're exactly right. No doubt about it. And let's not give the great one, the almighty Tom Brady, a freebie here as well. The guys, we got on Dak Prescott. I mean, I don't know. We didn't, but people got on Dak Prescott for being around a 50% passer.
Right.
Tom Brady was 54-ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah, 24 incompletions.
Dude, that is un-Brady-like. And, I know I sent you that little screenshot. Bro, I've seen on that interception he threw to Gronk, that was predetermined. The dude undercut the throw. I've seen him. Tyler Johnson was running wide open on a shin route, which is a short in at 5 yards, wide open. Would have probably gained as many yards had he completed it, like if he would have completed it to Gronkowski. And Tom Brady, instead of throwing that route to Tyler Johnson, he then tries to force it into his boy, and it gets picked, undercut with like a minute some left in the second quarter there.
Yep.
So Tom may play a good game, and a lot of that does have to do with, I do think he does fear the pass rush of the Rams a little bit. But, dude, you got to step up, man. You're the GOAT, and we can't absolve Tom Brady of any of this fault either, man.
Yeah, they were in his head early on. You could just see it in his face. He was uncomfortable from the very start. He couldn't step up and make throws that he wanted to throw. So for the most part, it was just the pass rush. It got to him. It was uncomfortable. He got sacked, and he couldn't. More than anything, if you go look at the game, he couldn't step into throws. And you know this.
Right.
You talk about this, Shane, especially Brady. He has to have that room to step and throw. That's why he's so accurate. He's not a guy that can throw off platform. And every time he tried to step up, the match was coming to him. They had the outside guys on wide line where they were coming at such an angle and so fast that he had to step up. And when he stepped up, there was no room. I mean, that's how you beat Tom Brady, and they executed it to perfection.
Yep. And I did say that when we spoke on Friday, if they can keep the center of the pocket solid, he'll have a good game, and they weren't able to do that.
Exactly.
I will give credit to, oh, goodness gracious, his name, the D coordinator over there with the Rams. Anyway.
McConnell? What is it?
No.
Raheem Morris, I was thinking of it.
Thank you. Yeah, who was the head coach with the Bucs there for a little bit. But he did a great job of scheming little TE stunts where tackle and play little stunts and little games with the O-line and allowing Aaron Donald to get one-on-one matchups, even if he didn't line up over the weak link of our right tackle or whoever it may be. What they did was they were running little twists, little games to be able to get a four-man pass rush. And Aaron Donald was whooping people's tail. Von Miller whooping people's tail because they had the availability with those TE stunts and ET stunts and who goes first. And it's basically like a pick play in basketball, where you pick the ball handler, and it's a little rub rap kind of a deal. And they were just whooping our tail with that stuff if they weren't beating us up front one-on-one flat out. So they did create a lot of stuff.
If they're doing a lot of games and stunts up front, as an offensive coordinator, what's the answer? Because there's always an answer.
Right. Well, there's not always an answer if your dude is better than my dude.
Oh, yeah. You can't block anybody. Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah. And that was kind of the issue with some of the injuries going on up front. But the big thing is, making sure when you do chip, also letting your running back not just chip on the outside, but doing a little run fake in the middle and then letting him help out on maybe a 3 technique or wherever Aaron Donald is.
Yeah.
Tell your running back, hey, make sure you find him, help the guard. Tom Brady, you communicate on where we're going to slide the line, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, though, honestly, JP, it comes down to we just got whooped up front, man.
Yeah.
We really did.
Yeah, you mentioned the third down. I went back and looked at a bunch of the third downs. I think it was our first drive or second drive. We're at a 3rd and 3 down in the red zone, and we call a little inside screen to Cameron Brate. And to his credit, I forget who it was, which the linebacker kind of recognized it, but there was still a hole there, and Brady kind of sidearmed it, and I couldn't tell if it went off Brate's hands or not. But I'm telling you, if Brate catches that ball, it's gone. That's down. It's down. So that was just a little bit off, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. And I actually have that in my notes here watching the game. That was a great play call.
Yep.
He might have scored on that if he doesn't get caught from behind. There is a
that was the one
little tunnel.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, there was a little tunnel screen right there. If he catches that, but again, Tom Brady, he rushed it. He really rushed it. He threw that thing so dang hard that Brady was like, whoa, what just happened? Like, why is this ball on me so quickly? Normally I have at least a chance to turn around and find. And Brady was trying to find a throwing lane for Brady, but Brady and that rush got on him too dang quick. And next thing you know, it was incomplete. I thought that was a hell of a play call. It was just, again, we just didn't execute offensively, defensively, and whatnot. But I do recall that play, and I thought that was a great play call.
Just in general on the third downs, what do you think? Most of the issue was pass rush, and like I said, you're right. Brady was off yesterday. It was not his best game. That's a great example. The pick to Gronk was a great example. The 4th down late in the game, he has Scotty Miller wide open on kind of the backside dig. That was, and he forces it to Cameron Brady. He had all the time in the world on that play.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. JP, when a guy, and this is what I was saying about getting Matthew Stafford uncomfortable. They took the game plan I was saying we need to do against them. They did it against us, and they made Tom Brady uncomfortable. And then when you make those throws and you do have time, just psychologically as a quarterback, you do get rushed. Even the greatest one of all got rushed. I sound like, what's her name? Singing The Greatest Love of All. But Tom Brady, the dude got rushed. And when he did have time, he in his mind, he just didn't get his feet underneath him. And like you said, he needs his feet underneath him in order to be great.
All right. So the final question, Shane, is on Brady. I want to ask you about some of the other games too. Do you think he comes back? And especially since what we just talked about, he did not play his best game. And not that he was rushed. I get it. But he's going to look at that tape and say, I effed up a bunch of times. I think it's going to be hard for him to go out like that. I just don't sense he's ready to go. I don't. What is your sense?
I'm with you 100%, man. I don't. His competitiveness, it's going to will him back to play another year. He still is competing. Here's the thing: as a competitor, when you still know you can personally compete at a high level, which he did, Aaron Rodgers did, and all these older quarterbacks are doing that are out there, except for Ben Roethlisberger. Obviously, he struggled the last few years, but Tom Brady led the league in passing yards and touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. Like, why can he not come back until he feels that when he loses that angst, that want to wake up every day, be in the locker room and deal with pain and deal with some of those struggles of hurting a little bit? I don't foresee it, but until that happens, I think he will play another year. And I think they have something to prove, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have a lot of injuries this year. And I think if a healthy Tampa Bay Buccaneers goes against the Rams, I think we win this game. And that's going to be something that will eat at Tom Brady, I imagine, as a competitor.
Sugar Shane Stafford, our quarterback guru, NFL, AFL, UConn quarterback. Your thoughts on what you saw from Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in those final 2 minutes? That's as good as quarterback play gets. And that was some crappy defense there too, by the way.
That was fantastic. That was awesome, man. You talk about great game plan, great execution, great just, hey, my guy's better than your guy kind of a deal. Did the Chiefs not look like the Chiefs that were always in the Super Bowl in the last 2 years? Winning Super Bowls, goodness gracious. I'll tell you, they keep acting like that, they will win another Super Bowl, man. That was a lot of fun to watch. It's just great to see Josh Allen continue to kind of, get through and meet his nemesis. It was the Patriots for a while, and now it's the Chiefs.
Yep.
It's great to see that kind of competitiveness and getting over those humps. Like the Bulls in the 90s had to get past the Detroit Pistons, and the Pistons had to get past the Celtics. So it's great to get over your nemesis, and maybe next year Josh Allen does, but this year, wah wah.
Yep. That was some incredible play back and forth. But man, how do you allow, that 13 seconds left? You don't even kick the ball in bounds. You got to make them return it with 13 seconds left. And you can't just give them 20 yards on 2 plays. I mean, that defense was ridiculous. The Bills were playing, and they have such a good defense. They could have let Travis Kelce gets a free release off the line, running down the middle of the field. Nobody's near him. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. That and Tyreek Hill as well. What they're doing. Goodness, great. Give the 2 best players an opportunity to. But you know what though? That is great coaching. That's great game planning. It's great execution. The Chiefs have been known for this. And I think that's what Dallas was trying to do last week with the quarterback sneak, with their version of what the Chiefs did, where okay, you want to protect the sidelines, you want to allow free releases, you want to do this, that, and the third. The Dallas Cowboys felt like Dak Prescott was the best answer. Well, the Chiefs showed you what the best answer is, and that's get it into your fastest guy's hand or your best player's hands and let them go ahead and make plays. But the fact that the Chiefs had, a few timeouts, I think all 3 timeouts actually, but that was a big bonehead mistake in Buffalo's, from their standpoint, by not kicking it to where at least they ran some clock off, knowing that the Chiefs had all 3 timeouts. They should have kicked it really high, kicked it down to the 10-yard line, corner coffin kick kind of a deal, make them run it out to the 25. Okay, if you miss tackle, hopefully that's where there's different things, JP, when you do kick coverage. Instead of everybody running down at their own fastest speed, what you do is everybody gets on the same level, and it's a wave of people. And then you just kind of corner everything in, so that way you don't. So that was a bonehead mistake by the Buffalo Bills in terms of what they executed special teams wise, to give them the ball on the 25 with no time running off the clock.
Yeah,
that wasn't smart.
All right, partner. Great stuff as always. We'll have you on next week, maybe at the end of the week here, and preview some of these championship games and see. Got some great quarterbacks. Mahomes against the emerging Joe Burrow, and now Jimmy G may be the redheaded stepchild in this group, but because the Rams are playing, I don't see how the 49ers got the Rams number though, so we'll see that. We'll see how that plays out, but should be some good championship games. Thanks, brother.
No doubt. Thank you, man. It's great talking to you.
All right. We'll take another break, and then we'll come back with some final thoughts. Arians did meet the media here earlier. No real revelations from this one, so we're not going to play that press conference. We'll give you a couple of the key points of it, and a little update on the Rays Stadium debate as well that was going on over the weekend. Stay with us.
Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucs to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company who was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, Scott@AMStampa.com, Scott@AMStampa.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome.
Fanstream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. The second hour presented by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Getting old is inevitable. Feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Center offers customized hormone replacement treatments for both men and women. Christopher Lugo, PA, has deep experience in custom hormone balancing and can help you restore your energy, sex drive, and feelings of well-being. So contact them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That's BAMMC.com, BAMMC.com. All right, just a little smattering of some comments from the Bucs this morning. Gronkowski talked to media and said that he could definitely see himself coming back if Tom doesn't. Feels it's been a really successful season, so he could do that. He also said that he thinks Brady has made no decisions on his future and basically will take some time off and not let emotion be any part of the decision, but doesn't have a feeling whether he'll be back. Bruce Arians says they'll be doing their homework for sure, evaluating their other options if Tom Brady retires. Said he'd be comfortable with Gabbert, Trask, but said you want to check what's behind door number 2. Absolutely. He also said he would consider returning to play calling duties if Byron Leftwich were to leave for the Jacksonville job, possibly. So, yeah, they've got a lot of decisions to make. Carlton Davis is going to be a free agent. He's going to command a lot of money on the open market. But, again, a lot of this is being based on where the cap was this year. I expect the cap to go up significantly more.
I checked it based on Spot Track. At the moment, the Bucs have $22 million in cap space at the moment. So not a lot to play with. It's obviously a little bit. They obviously have more than they probably should because they've been able to offload some of those contracts, the signing bonuses. And I think I had said I think they've kind of run out of guys to do that with. Yeah. And this is kind of the year where this is the real cap crunch this time.
And they've extended a lot of guys and redone contracts. So that's really going to start hitting you in this year and next year with dead money. So there'll be a huge rebuild, but I still think there's room. They can push a lot of this stuff down the road again, rework a lot of deals, and do exactly what they did this year. If Brady, here's the thing, it's just the linchpin is how it's going to work. If Brady decides to come back one more year, what the Bucs will do inevitably is rework about these contracts again and push all the money into the year where he's not going to be, and then it's going to be a grotesque rebuild when he leaves. But that's what you do, and I think all the signs are pointing towards that, don't you think? It's like, I mean, you could say that we'll not be able to bring a lot of guys back, but I think we will. There's always ways to salary cap it and push it down the road, especially if there's going to be an expansion of the salary cap, which I think there will, which gives you more flexibility. It's not going to be all 22 again. That's not happening, but I think they'll be able to keep the significant pieces around Brady, and they'll be a much better team at the beginning of next season, just having Godwin back. Of course, they get to re-sign him. That's big money. Evans counts $20 million. But the bottom line is they can get all these guys. If Fournette wants to come back for, something in the $5 to $6 million range, I think they can get that done. And if they can't, as much as I love Leonard Fournette and every part about him, there's a lot of good running backs on the market that you can fill in with.
And the draft.
I
think would probably be where they go towards, honestly.
Yeah.
Or maybe get a veteran, who knows. But I mean, you look elsewhere. I mean, we talked about Cameron Braid a lot in his contract.
Yeah.
Right here, which is 7,285 towards the cap.
Yeah. That's
which I think that's up at the end of this year or next.
Yeah, well, even if it is, you cut that.
You got to get rid of that.
Yeah, you can draft a guy that does what he does. I love Cam Brate, but there's a lot of maneuvering to do right now, but they've been very good at this. They've been very good at getting guys in. And again, there's going to be a ton of guys that want to come play with Brady if he decides to come back. It's as simple as if Brady comes back, and I think he's obviously smart enough to know that he's the linchpin, and he's going to let the Bucs know as soon as possible. This is not going to be something be an Aaron Rodgers thing, and Aaron Rodgers is trying to do things with his contract. Brady doesn't need that, not going to do it. I would think within the next 2 weeks to a month at the most, we'll find out. And I think you're going to find out he's coming back, and it's going to be pretty clear that this is, one more shot, one more kind of like the Bulls did, right?
I will say that I think any talk, and maybe we thought about this before the season began and during the season, maybe he's got multiple years left in him.
Yeah.
I think we said that. I don't know why, but I just feel like yesterday you feel like now it's one or none.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any possibility anymore that he's going to play from 45 to 50 in that range.
This is last dance. This is last dance. I think, and it would be fun. It would be fun for him to just say, you know what, I'm coming back for one more. This is it. And I think it would be something that would be great for his family as well. For his family to know that this is it. There's finality to it. It just seems something that, he's so freaking organized in his life, and he knows where everything is going. One more year to, he just launched his clothing line. One more year to be in the spotlight to get everything really up to speed for the next move. It just feels incomplete at this particular moment.
And who's to say? Obviously, they're going to be in contention, we think, if Brady's back, right?
Tough schedule.
They're tough schedule, but here's the reality. In all the games that they've played with Brady, they're 28-3 against the NFL when it's not the Rams and the Saints. They're 1-7 against the Rams and Saints.
Wow.
28-3 against the rest of the league.
Wow.
They're schooling the rest of the league.
They play the Rams next year too, don't they?
They do play the Rams, and you got to play the Saints twice. But think about that. They're schooling the rest of the league right now.
Right.
So, I mean, any report of this is the it for the Bucs? I don't think so.
I mean, I would say their odds, if Brady comes back, their odds to make the playoffs are a strong 75-80%. And once you get into the tournament, anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just think it would be so much fun for him. I think there's great finality to it for his business interests, for his family, for everything, just to, have some finality to it one more time. This is going to be it. Everybody knows it. It's the Tom Brady farewell tour. It's the last dance. The Bucs are able to make a lot of decisions based on that, right? They can, extend contracts, push everything into 23, and everybody knows it's going to be a huge rebuild after that. So be it. So be it. I think that's best for the organization. I think it's best for Brady. I think it's best for his teammates. It just feels right.
Yeah.
Him leaving right now just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. And based on what we saw yesterday, listen, the Rams feel like the Bucs of last year. Let's be honest. I mean, they're the same. They went out and got Von Miller. They went out and got Odell Beckham Jr. They have so many stars all over the place. They had the Super Bowl at home potentially this year. This feels like their year in all reality.
Yeah, it really does. All right, real quickly, this was an article or an opinion piece in the Times that came out this weekend. Said it's now up to the Rays to keep the Rays here, and of course, they whine and kvetch just like Sternberg did about this sister season. Blah 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 blah. But what's really fearsome is the fact now they're saying the Rays are going to open it up. Now the Rays have not said. Well, actually, Stu did say this. They're going to look at St. Petersburg. They're going to look at all the options. They're starting back from zero. That's wrong. That's 100% wrong. The Rays have been very, very deeply involved in this next iteration of Ybor at the K4 site. This is what Hagan has told us, and I've heard it from other people, other sources. The K4 site is the site they're looking at. They've already got plans drawn for it. Infrastructure. They're already working on all the dollars. It's going to be a fixed roof, not a retractable roof. They're down the road on this, folks. For them to scrap that and say go back to zero is ridiculous. It's ridiculous for them. I don't think it's real. I think that was more of Stu just kind of talking and being emotional about his, losing his ball, his little sister city thing. I think, when they, regroup, that they're going to, I think Major League Baseball is also going to strongly advise them. You're not, and it's, people keep talking about St. Petersburg. Folks, this is not happening. Major League Baseball has told the Rays, you're not going to build in Pinellas County. It's not going to happen ever. They'll leave this market before they build in Pinellas County. And folks, they're not leaving this market. So I wish people would just stop talking about it. I know St. Petersburg has more money. They'll have a better package. It doesn't matter. It's a failed location. It's bad. It's bad money after bad money is what that is. So, or good money after bad money, I guess you would say. Don't do it. It's not going to happen. All right. Our thanks to Shane Stafford. I think we broke it down pretty well today. Go back and check out our podcast. If you missed anything, you can always download our app. And, of course, go on Twitter or on YouTube. It's a great place to watch us. Go back and click on it, subscribe, and watch the whole show. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Talk some Bolts.